everybody hear me? We're about to get the program started, so I know everybody's still eating, but gotta get things moving. So my name is Devon Miller. With Western Michigan University. I'm the building commissioning specialist there at Western. I also serve as a chair/president of the USGBC West Michigan chapter. So I'm up here to introduce the rest of our board. So as I call your name, please stand up. I see our vice chair is walking out of the room, so she's trying to sneak out on me. Our vice chair, Kristen Trevelyan with Grand Rapids Public Schools. We have Dave Renard with Steelcase over there in the corner there. We have Sarah Renero with State of Michigan, waving her hand there. We have Ryan Musk with Fishbeck. He's a new member to the board. Another new member is Ana Jose with the West Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We have Renee, it's in the back of the room there with Nichols. I'm pretty sure everybody knows Renee. She's been on the board for a while. And I'll make sure, and we have Andrew. He's advisor to our board from legal or law perspective. So I think I've got everybody. So the other thing I want to do is introduce our ED, Sherry Holman. But before she comes up, I just want, on behalf of myself and the rest of the board, she makes our job easy. Her and her staff do so much for this chapter, and I think it's really important for her to be recognized for everything she does for us. I know we can be doing some of the programs and some of the things that we do here, so I just want to let her know, her staff, Jillian, Morgan, Wendy, and our new student intern, Isabel. They do such a great job for this chapter, and I just wanted to take the time to acknowledge them for all the work that they do. So with that, I'd invite Sherry up here. So.
Hello. Welcome. Sure, I'll use the clicker. Down. Thank you. All right, let me get some notes out here. All right. Oh, I'm so excited to come to this day again once a year where we get to celebrate the impact, not just of the chapter, but the work that you guys do. And I want to thank you, Devon, for introducing me so nicely. And so you all know I'm Sherry Holman. I'm the executive director of the USGBC West Michigan chapter. And this building is our new home. We moved in here in March of this year. We're on the 5th floor. So we're really excited because we moved out of my basement. So it's been a wild ride for 5 years. 5 years ago, I became ED, and it was just me. And now, 5 years later, here we are with a staff of 5. So incredible growth that we've been through, and that's really in thanks to the support that we get from you guys and the work that you all do that makes us relevant to tell your story and share all the great work that's been going on to educate others to keep this going. So I think real bad. So Morgan might be moving some of my slides because I tend to start talking and forget to move my slides. So Devon introduced my staff, but I wanted to just really quickly to make sure that everybody knows these lovely women who do an amazing job: Jillian Gem, Morgan Pecora, Wendy Berg, and our newest Isabel Soberall. And in 5 short years, these women have come such a long ways, and it is because of their passion, their commitment, and their true dedication to this work. These girls live, breathe, and sleep this work, and I could not be luckier than to be the leader of this organization. So thank you. of course, our partners. So important to our work as a nonprofit that we depend solely on our partnerships and our sponsors and supporters, the collaboration from these amazing partners, and the generosity, because again, it just wouldn't be possible without all of you. So our visionary partners, our DTE, the Department of Great Lakes the Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, lovingly known as EGLE, Consumers Energy and the Wege Foundation, and our platinum partners this year, Permalock, Steelcase, and Fishbeck. And our gold, am I off already? See? I missed Train. Why? Did I not write you down? No, you're there. You're there. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Train. Our gold partners, Meyer Quality Air Service and Rockford Construction, and our silver partners, Grand Valley State University, Hayworth, Nichols, Stantec, Walbridge, Western Michigan University, and we also have a media partner this year, GRBJ, and our supporters, Process Engineering, who we refer to as PICO, and Experience Grand Rapids. So, all of you who support us are in this room, some of you, tables full of you, so thank you. Thank you. And I can't say enough about how much we appreciate the support. All right, so it is, no, see, I didn't do them right. Morgan, take over. All right, so this is the great part where I get to talk about my pride and the progress in the organization, and you all have our annual report. We did that in-house this year, so we're so excited. That is the biggest thing that we've produced so far, and I think it will get even better every year, so we're really excited about that piece. Thank you, Morgan, who was the brains behind that. And so I'm gonna talk not just about what we've done, because you can read that, but what we're working on and what we're doing. So let's see here. Let's go forward to Battle. I always start with Battle. Battle's growing as it always has, but what's exciting this year is that we're working with some cities across the state to expand Battle, not only as a statewide competition, but to actually award buildings within cities as well. And so we've been working with the city of Detroit, and we're launching the Detroit Energy Challenge. And so all buildings within Detroit will have the opportunity to win a city award and an opportunity to win the larger statewide award. We've been talking to Ann Arbor. Nothing's decided there yet, but we may also be helping them launch a green building challenge there. And there's also a new talk with the city of Grand Rapids, who would really like to see Grand Rapids buildings being awarded, as well as the state. So, and then the 3 cities are also talking about a city-to-city challenge. We don't know what that might look like yet, and we're not exactly sure how we're gonna do it, but it is a conversation that is starting on Wednesday, as a matter of fact, when we meet in Lansing to discuss what the possibilities are for a city-to-city challenge. So this will grow our state competition, of course, but also bring recognition inside of cities. So that's really exciting for Battle this year. Next slide. So Battle has grown to 232 million square feet. Over the past 5 years, they have avoided 136,000 metric tons of carbon, and they've put $14.1 million back into their businesses. Incredible progress by a bunch of building owners across the state. All right, so save the date for the next Energy Summit, April 21st, same place, same venue, JW Marriott. Go ahead. And of course, Grand Rapids 2030 District. That is a group of building owners in the city. Many of you are part of it. We're working to reduce carbon from buildings and transportation. I want to thank the District Advisory Council who helps us lead the 2030 district. And you can see them up here. Most of them are in this room. I also want to point out, too, that if you are on one of the committees or on the board, please stick around after we end, because we want to take some pictures of everybody, get us together as a group. And so these leaders, this District Advisory Council is very committed to sustainable economic vitality in Grand Rapids. So thank you guys for helping us lead the 2030 district. It's growing every day. And we are up to 45 owners who are representing 252 buildings and 16 million square feet in Grand Rapids. So we're proud of the way the 2030 district is expanding, and there seems to be more interest daily. We get new members all the time, so our reach is growing as we continue to stomp out the carbon throughout the city. Here's something new. Oh, you're too behind, Morgan. Maybe I better take back over. I'm just kidding you. I'm so engaged. So something new that we're working on this year, or that we acquired, is the ability to measure carbon in our city, actually across our whole state. We can measure carbon in the most real time possible. And so we now know that just from our commercial buildings and transportation, we're responsible for 1.5 million metric tons of carbon every year in the city. Beyond that, we know that our whole city, including homes, is responsible for 2.2 million metric tons of carbon every year. And just to kind of put that in perspective, the state is responsible for about 165 metric tons of carbon every year. And the top 10 cities in our state emit more carbon than the forests that we have in Michigan to offset that carbon. We are on the top 10 list of carbon emitters nationwide. We are one of the top 10. It's not a list we want to be on the top 10 of. So we need to do better. Consumers Energy is going to be a big help with that. As any of you have been to, is it the road show you're calling it? To go to a carbon-free grid on the electric side. So that will be a huge boost for us once they achieve that goal. Go ahead. The Energy Assistance Program is providing audits for small businesses, nonprofits, houses of worship, and educational institutions across West Michigan. This is a very new program. It's based on need. They're our priority. And so we so far have been able to help 288,000 square feet we've provided audits for. We've identified about $150,000 worth of potential savings for these owners, and they're just starting to implement them now. So we're gonna have a lot of success stories over the next year or two, and our hope is really to help these small businesses understand that energy efficiency isn't just for the big guy, it's for the smaller companies as well. And so we're excited to see some of the outcomes as we're following them, and they're doing things like roofs and new furnaces and windows, and all kinds of things are happening. So that's an exciting program, just in its second year right now. And Zero Cities. Zero Cities is in year 3 right now. This is a program that is facilitated by the city, and the goal is to get Grand Rapids to net zero carbon. We're in year 3. We've developed baselines so far. We've identified our largest opportunities. And this year, we're going to be focusing on creating feedback forums so we can build support for new policies, programs, and incentives that can help get us to carbon-free. So this is an important year when we're really going to be reaching out and have our listening ears on. And there's never a policy that everyone's happy with, right? And that means it's a good one. So what we have to do is find whatever's going to work for us as a city to get us to that net zero carbon. This includes homes as well, so it's a large effort, and we're happy to support the city in that venture as we work through what the solutions are for Grand Rapids. So you guys remember I talked about marijuana last year, and we had just legalized it not long before we had our first meeting. And this is one of our success stories so far, because we were able to get into the licensing of our marijuana facilities that are gonna happen in Grand Rapids, some sustainability and energy requirements. They have some lighting requirements. They have to conduct an energy audit. They have to share their energy information, transparency, and basically just be good neighbors. This is really important because it set a standard and that we hope to extend over time some of these ordinances or policies to more owners across the city. Now that might sound scary. I don't know that, that they're gonna be policies or if this is gonna be voluntary or what we're gonna do, but the first thing happened, and it rightfully so, because if you were here last year, you'll remember me saying that these cannabis producers are going to use 4 times as much energy as our largest energy users, traditionally manufacturing and hospitals. When you look at an average for a manufacturing or hospital, usually their energy utilization index, their kBTUs per square foot, runs around 250 to 350 kBTUs per square foot. These guys are going to use 1,000. So it's very important not only for us as a city as we move towards carbon neutrality, but also to get those growers into our city that can create a sustainable business model. And we need them to stay, not just come in and operate for a couple years and leave us with the building, right? We need them to stay and have a business model that sustains them. So it's kind of a twofold success of this work. So we're really excited that that happened this year. All right, our Green Certification Committee has done some awesome work this year as well, and they created a green building guide. They're actually the ones who vote on who our leadership awardees are for tonight, and they've been very busy doing a lot of videos, case studies, lunch and learns, and we've actually increased our YouTube channel to 47 videos now. Where's Eddie? Because you are a big star this week. We didn't even shout your video out and it already had 150 views before we even let anyone know it was on YouTube. You tell a great story. Anybody who talks about sustainability and uses the words sexy and naked, you gave us a lot of hashtags. I think a lot of people in this room have probably been part of one of these videos. So if you have success stories to share, let us know. We want to tell your story. That's how we learn best is from each other. Our Green Schools program. This is growing as well. We've been partnering with GRCC and GRPS for 2 years now, and this year we're partnering with Consumers Energy, and we're working at Kalamazoo Central. And actually, the mentoring program, Eric DeVries from E3M will actually be winning one of our Green School, or no, I'm sorry, you're not winning that award. You're winning the Volunteer of the Year. Thank you. Josh, you're winning the Green School Award. Eric is one of our mentors for that program, but he's not the only one, and I wanted to point that out because Steelcase and Fishbeck as well are part of that, and basically what we're doing there is helping students understand high-performing buildings. We're actually using them as the auditors, and we're helping them to understand return on investment, net present value. So it's been really fun program, and 21 students from GRCC, through our partnership with Builders Exchange, have been able to sit for the LEED GA exam because we had the funding to to pay for that. So we're really excited that they get to graduate from college with an accreditation already under the belt. So yay for that program, and thank you to Grand Rapids Builders Exchange for helping us to make that happen. So we're getting towards the end, and you're getting to the point where we're going to listen to the real keynote speaker, Dr. Fawcett, which I'm so excited to hear his talk and to hear about the socioeconomics of health and what we're experiencing now. So I want to talk quickly about Rise Up Drawdown, because I've heard, and we didn't say this, but I've heard it was a sustainability event of the year. We brought together 43 partners in collaboration, over 500 people, and we talked about climate change and solutions to climate change. So that was a first-time event for us. Some of you were probably there. Paul Hawken was our keynote speaker. That was the biggest event we've ever thrown. So we're very proud of it. I think it turned out okay, and we are already planning for next year. So I hope that you will join us in September as we bring Drawdown Michigan again for year 2. So I'm going to leave you now and get to the speakers and the awardees. I think I had an awardee slide, didn't I? Because I wanted to make sure. Yes. So the work that we do is because of the work that you do. And I'm so happy that we get to award some of our leaders each year in giving their time, in making these projects happen, in leadership. You make it hard to choose the best of the best because you're all doing such a great job. And I think I've told this story before when I talk about traveling across the country, working with groups in sustainability or energy efficiency. We have a culture here in West Michigan that I don't find anywhere else. And I'm just so excited and proud to be part of that and to be able to share these stories and provide a platform for all of you to keep this great work going. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And I missed out on introducing Sarah. Sarah Chartier will be introducing our keynote speaker. Also a 2030 leader on our District Advisory Council. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. And I need a new pick for you guys because that one's a little bit old. But good evening, everyone. I am privileged to be here today to introduce Dr. Ken Fawcett. Before I do, I just wanted to take a moment and give a round of applause for all the amazing work that West Michigan USGBC is doing because it's truly incredible. So let's celebrate all of them. And I know many of you in the room, but not all of you. So my name is Sarah Chartier. I support our sustainability program at Spectrum Health, which is inclusive of both the environmental aspect as well as supplier diversity. And I've been working with Dr. Fawcett for probably at least 5 years now, since he's been with Healthier Communities. He is the Vice President of Spectrum Health's Healthier Communities Department. And when you think of a health system, you might first gravitate towards our hospitals. But as you'll find out through Dr. Fawcett's presentation, much of our health is a result of the factors outside of the four walls of our institutions. This is also the space in which Dr. Fawcett and his team is engaging in improving the health within our community through the department that he leads, Healthier Communities. I may be a little bit biased, but Healthier Communities is my favorite department at Spectrum Health because of the amazing work that they do, and they really focus on improving care and supporting the most marginalized individuals within our communities. As a leader of this space, Dr. Fawcett brings a wealth of experience as both a primary care provider, physician leader, and now as the leader of Healthier Communities. I believe he's a servant leader focused on centering the clients and community members and really focused on reducing disparities for those who have the most need. And his full bio, I believe, is on the description, so I'm not going to read through that, but I just wanted to highlight my favorite part of his bio. In his current role with Spectrum Health Healthier Communities, he's passionate about integrating with clients in neighborhoods where our services are needed the most, especially in mission-based work. He describes this work as being in rhythm with his soul. And so with that, I will let Dr. Vasa take over.
All right. Well, thank you very, very much. I tell you what, I'm so happy to be here to actually address this group this evening. I'm not much of a public speaker, but I was given a couple rules in advance. The first one is, Ken, be brief, and I promise to be able to do that. I appreciate, Sarah, your kind words and introduction. Indeed, I came to this community almost 30 years ago, initially as a clinician. I then became interested in systems-based work, thinking that if you really wanted to move the needle, instead of taking care of just a finite number of patients, if you can help design systems, that you can make a bigger impact. From there, actually, I transitioned really into the work that I do now within healthier communities. And really, we focus on putting programming together to benefit medically underserved and economically disadvantaged populations, both inside of a medical model and outside of a medical model. And I'd be happy to talk to any of you that are interested in this, because some of the work that we have been able to do, and again, I take very little credit. I just have a wonderful team, but some of the work that we've been able to do is really remarkable, with a clinical focus really around 3 areas. One is around really attacking infant mortality and adverse birth outcomes with an eye towards equitable outcomes. A second area is utilizing economic security, and in particular, school-based programming to improve economic security, recognizing that it leads to long-term health. And lastly, work around chronic disease, both in terms of its prevention and management. But I'll be honest, I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff tonight. Instead, I'm going to take a step back, and what I would really like to do is spend a little time. I'm pushing down. Oh, pardon me. I really need bifocals. No, I got it now. I'm just too proud to buy them, actually. What I really want to do today is spend a little bit of time talking about health. But I'm going to talk about health in a different sort of way. I hope that I am going to make you comfortably uncomfortable. Comfortably uncomfortable. I'm going to talk specifically about the current health status of our community here in West Michigan in Grand Rapids. I want to introduce a term or a phrase really around the social determinants of health and unpack that. And then I want to then conclude by really talking about something called an anchor institution. And I will tell you, I've spent lots and lots of time studying clinical medicine. I've graduated from medical school about 30 years ago, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. But I tell you what, in the last 5 years, I have come to the conclusion that actually my education was incomplete. In the last 5 years, in terms of working with vulnerable patients and really understanding the unique challenges and barriers that they have, has really helped to round out an education that I think was really missing. And that's what I hope to be able to share a little bit with you today. So if we were to take a look at, what is health? The World Health Organization defines health as really being a state of physical, emotional, and social well-being. That it is not simply the absence of disease or infirmity. And I think that that's absolutely true. And as you look at this slide, you see all kinds of things up there, and we're going to discover what each of these circles are. But what I want you to take away from this is that health is incredibly complex. It is not simple. It is not linear. And many times, despite our advancing understanding of medical science, it remains perplexing. We all know people who have seemingly been in the prime of their health that fall over dead on a treadmill. Exercise is dangerous. We also know, people who smoke like chimneys into their 70s and 80s, and they work in a coal mine, and yet their health is fantastic. So there are many things that, quite frankly, we don't understand. I want to introduce a topic to you specifically around the social determinants of health. The social determinants of health are a group of factors outside of a traditional medical model that greatly will influence or create health itself. And there are multiple factors. So we look at economic stability. And as I said before, some of the work that we do within healthier communities is really trying to address this. But issues around employment, income, debt, all of these things actually have a profound effect on health. And I'm going to go into a little bit of detail here in just a moment. If we look at the second grouping there of neighborhood and physical environment, things like housing, transportation, green space, walkability, all of these things help to influence health. Specifically around education. Education is absolutely linked to health, and we're going to unpack this one a little bit too. But education all the way from primary education, secondary education, but it starts before then. It really starts with early childhood education and really offering preschool to give our youth the proper launch angle so that they can be successful in life, because success is going to translate to improved health. Food insecurity is something else that's really important. And I want to differentiate the absence of hunger from nutritious food. Individuals living in poverty have twice the rate of obesity as individuals living above that poverty line. It's not a question of having food to eat so that you feel full when you're going to bed, although that makes us feel comfortable knowing that, in fact, we can offer food so that people aren't going to bed hungry. But the issue is far more complex. It really has to do with offering nutritious food. And do people live in areas? Do they have transportation that allows for them to eat nutritious choices? Because in that absence, they are going to turn to things that are not nutritious. Things that we would look at as treats become the main staples of meals, and people have incredibly increased incidence of weight-related medical conditions. Social integration and community engagement is absolutely part of it. And then over here, what goes on in the health system, also really, really important. And historically, oftentimes health system and health providers, mea culpa, would look at these collection of issues and they say, that's not my job. That's somebody else's job. That's the role of government. That's local government. That's state government. It's the federal government problem. Well, I tell you what, our job isn't to deliver health care. Our job is to create health. And I will tell you that this is changing. This is changing. And I don't really know why. I think perhaps we're in a new age of enlightenment that, in fact, we're coming to the conclusion that, hey, we have a moral obligation or an ethical obligation to be able to improve the health of all people. Martin Luther King Day is just around the corner on Monday, and he has a very famous quote where he describes of all, actually, forums should have been forms, and there's two typos on here. One of them, of all the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane. And the other typo, for those of you that don't know, there should be a junior after the end of Martin Luther King. But this is absolutely true. And I will say that, it is changing, and perhaps not all of it has been born out of altruism. Some of this is actually due to changes that are in the way in which individuals are being reimbursed for services. Historically, federal Medicare dollars could only be used for the provision of services, but now suddenly people are beginning to recognize the importance of these social determinants of health, and they are allowing health plans to actually utilize these dollars to actually provide intervention. A local example of where this is happening is with Priority Health and an organization called the Green and Healthy Homes Coalition that's based out of Baltimore. But they're doing work really around home remediation as it relates to asthma. Now, asthma is the #1 reason why children are admitted to the Helen DeVos Children's Hospital. And most of asthma is triggered because of allergic conditions. So kids that are exposed, for example, to smoke, they're exposed to problems with mold and mildew that many times are related actually to water getting into homes, and other things like infestation, cockroach, dust mites. All of these things help to trigger asthma. And yet, if we had a sick fish and we nursed that fish back to health, I don't know how we would do that, but if we could nurse that sick fish back to health using all of the latest medical science, and yet we toss that fish back into a polluted pond, I tell you, that fish would get sick again. And that's what happens with childhood asthma. These kids come into the hospital, we treat them aggressively with medications, and we send them right back into the same environment. I'm happy to share with you that through this new program, we are able to utilize those funds that would otherwise be used to actually intervene with an asthma exacerbation and provide home remediation. We're buying HEPA filters. We're putting in dehumidifiers. We actually are removing carpeting and drapes and instead putting in vertical blinds, which we know are going to attract far less dust. We're getting upstream of simple healthcare interventions to improve health, to prevent these kids from ever having an exacerbation. And that becomes important. Oh, no. I had nothing to do with it. That's not entirely true, but thank you. I want to shift here. I've got about 3 shifts, and this is my first shift. What I want to do is I want to talk just for a moment about Grand Rapids. Forbes magazine back in 2016 recognized Grand Rapids as the best place in America to raise a family. That was based on variables like wages and earnings, green space, housing prices, opportunities for education. We were #1 in the country. And yet, 2 months later, Forbes magazine did a report and found that Grand Rapids was actually second to last in the nation. We only beat Milwaukee for economic advancement among African American populations. And that was looking at these exact same criteria. So if, in fact, we're the best place to raise a family, I'm going to ask for whom? And really, when you really start to break this down, in our own backyard, if you were to take a look at the life expectancies of individuals that live in East Grand Rapids, and you compared them to the life expectancies of individuals living in East Town, you would discover a shocking 17.8-year difference in life expectancy. And these two communities are separated by a singleton cobblestone street. And as you traverse from East Town into East Grand Rapids, there's a sign that says, "A better place to live." And they're right. And they are right. Not only do we have quantitative data that support the difference in health, we also have qualitative data. When looking specifically at earnings, individuals that earn less than $35,000 a year And that turns out to be $16.80 an hour if you want to do the math. Individuals making less than $35,000 a year report their health as being poorer than individuals making less than that. Now, you've all filled out these forms, and there's a statement, and you either have to say, yes, I agree with that, absolutely, or yeah, that's sort of true, or completely neutral. That's called a 5-point Likert scale. And individuals earning less than $35,000 will self-report their health in the bottom two tiers, that's fair and poor, at twice the rate of individuals making between $35,000 and $45,000. So getting people to a threshold of $35,000 improves their health in the eyes of the very population that we are trying to serve, which is why this tie-in with economic vitality is so important. I mean, we've reached a point now where your zip code has more to do with your health than your genetic code. And I, for one, I'm uncomfortable with that. Oh, I meant to advance this slide earlier. I put this slide in here as a reminder. If you wanted to learn more about the plight of individuals within Grand Rapids, this is a book by Todd Robinson called A City Within a City, and it really describes the plight of populations of color in terms of advancing their economic status here in Grand Rapids. I'm going to pivot again, and I'm going to talk about environment, and I realize this is a group that this is my worst nightmare, of course. I'm standing up here going to talk to a group of people, all who know this material much better than I. So I'm going to go really fast, and if you want to check your text messages over the next couple minutes, go ahead and do it. But actually, environmental factors actually critically influence health, and they do so in both a direct manner and an indirect manner. I mean, directly, things like global warming are creating changes with our climate that are directly impactful on people's health, specifically around things like air quality and erosion and economic prosperity being sort of an indirect implication. Something else that happens is there are some indirect changes as well, and things that actually I'm far more familiar with and comfortable talking about. One of those items are illnesses that are created by insect vectors. What the heck does that mean? That sounds like a real medical term. I don't know where that came from. I'm barely a doctor any longer. When I was going to medical school and we talked about illnesses that are transmitted by insects, that's what an insect vector is. Boy, we talked about a couple of things. We talked about malaria, which we don't see very much anymore. We talked about Lyme disease. Now, Lyme disease is an unusual condition causing neurologic and cardiac and arthritic problems, and it's transmitted by a tick. And it used to be 30 years ago that these ticks were relatively isolated. They were isolated around Lyme, Connecticut, which is why we call Lyme disease Lyme disease. It was in our Upper Peninsula and Wisconsin and Minnesota, and it was in our desert Southwest. Two different ticks. But I tell you what, climate change has made the environment of this tick ubiquitous, and now we're seeing Lyme disease all over. If we shift to the mosquito, mosquitoes are not our friend. We think about illnesses like West Nile. I never remember ever learning about West Nile when I was in medical school, but I tell you what, it's a real reality now. How about Zika virus? We never had heard about Zika, but suddenly now we're changing the climate. We're making it easier for the mosquitoes to exist, and Zika can cause devastating outcomes if someone is getting pregnant or they're pregnant when they contract this illness. And then, of course, most recently, Eastern equine encephalitis. You remember last summer. I was scared to go outside. This can be a devastating illness if you contract it. Now, sometimes it can be something as mild as just a simple viral illness. The problem is you never know who. And this particular illness seems to affect people most dramatically who are in the prime of their health. And we think that it is actually related to one's own immune system becoming overzealous. And in its attempt to beat up this particular virus, we end up beating up ourselves. And so it's not the young, it's not the youth, and it's not the elderly that are affected, but it's people like us that are sitting in this room. It's scary. Something else that's unrelated to an infectious process, whoop, I hit the wrong button, is the effect that lead intoxication or lead poisoning has on our developing youth. Now, I know that everyone sitting in this room is probably familiar with what is going on with the issue of lead poisoning within Flint. And indeed, what happened in Flint was that people made a decision to change the water supply, and an additive was not added to the water, and so lead was being leached out. But did you know that actually Grand Rapids has a lead problem? And that actually in the 49507 zip code, which is in the southeast, that there are more kids diagnosed in the 49507 with lead poisoning than in the entirety of Flint. The scariest stat that's up here for me is looking at the number of kids that were tested and the number of children that actually were found to be lead intoxicated. When you look at the kids that were tested in Flint, about 3.5% of kids were actually found to be lead intoxicated. When you look at the 49507, it's 15% of kids. And here, it's not as, I'm going to use sexy. I don't know how to work in naked, but I'm going to work in the word sexy. It's not as sexy because we can't point a finger at someone that made a bad decision about a water supply issue. But instead, it's our own economic prosperity. Kids are getting lead intoxication not from water, but rather it's coming from paint dust. Lead was an added, again, this is one of these things, you know this better than I, but lead was actually added to paint prior to 1978 because it allowed for the paint to dry more quickly. Between 75 and 80% of housing stock in Grand Rapids was manufactured prior to 1978, which means there's a lot of lead in our buildings. Now, these individual homes can be remediated, but it's expensive. But here we're tending to use our children as the canary in the coal mine, trying to discover where are their challenges. And again, this is going to require a systems-based solution, but absolutely environment is playing a key role in terms of trying to create health because it's the exuberance. It's the fact that we have a vibrant economy with all this pressure on our housing stock that a lot of do-it-yourselfers are actually trying to do it themselves, and they're aerosolizing this paint dust that then settles. So anything that moves that has friction, door jambs, windows, can create this aerosolization. And these youngsters that are crawling around on the floor, putting their hand to mouth, they can become intoxicated with this. And the problem is that lead is incorporated into their bone and then is leached out. And so it's not a quick fix. It's not like giving an antibiotic to treat an infectious illness, but rather we're creating problems that are going to last for decades and decades, just like those kids in Flint. I had meant to tell you that I was going to put up this slide a little bit later, but what I wanted to do here, this particular slide, really denotes life expectancy differences. And as you look at the greater Grand Rapids area, areas that are very, very dark in color actually have shorter life expectancies, and areas on this map that are lighter in color actually have longer life expectancies. And I share this with you because I wanted you to be able to take a look and try to get a sense in terms of, where does your community lie on this path right here? I mentioned social determinants of health with my second slide, but I did not try to put into perspective how important they are relative to the creation of health, and that's what I want to do right now. So there have been multiple studies looking specifically at what creates health, and the results are relatively consistent. Despite being a clinician, unfortunately, only anywhere between 15 to 20% of your health is actually created by having access to affordable, high-quality health care. A good chunk of your health is actually created by genetics, about 25%. But then other factors play a role here. Factors such as the physical environment in which you live, behaviors that you make around fitness and exercise or smoking or alcohol. But the overwhelming majority of your health is actually created by a whole host of factors that we collectively refer to as social determinants of health. And they include things like transportation, housing, food insecurity, and education. And I'm going to unpack education here in just a second. Children that are born into generational poverty, the likelihood of them ever being able to extract themselves from this vicious cycle is only about 5%. And that's when all the stars align. 5%. We believe that by supporting education, this didn't come out very well, but I'll try to describe what I'm trying to show here. We believe very seriously that if you can try to promote educational outcomes, that you can create an individual who is more employable. And if they're more employable, that you can create a situation where they have enhanced economic security. And if they have enhanced economic security, we know that that translates to long-term health. So what this slide, and again, black on blue, I'm learning is a no-no here, but what it's showing here is that we can improve education, and we think that by improving education, people can get a job. They can then develop transportation that will translate to housing, independent housing that can create wealth accumulation and home equity that many times has not been available to many people. That in turn can lead to enhanced physical activity, and long-term health is improved. But it all starts with really improving education. This is my final shift. Usually that's when my kids are cheering. But I want to talk a little bit about an anchor institution. And I want to do this because this is giving us hope. Anchor institutions, and the phrase is sort of a double entendre. An anchor institution is an institution that's kind of stuck. It can't move. Unlike the automobile industry that moved down to Kentucky and Tennessee, or the home furnishing industry that moved down to the Carolinas, there are industries that actually really are rooted in community and that cannot be moved. Typically, these are large health systems. There are institutes of higher learning, government. I mean, how awkward would it be that the University of Michigan is somewhere in Georgia? That makes absolutely no sense. But the other part about this anchor institution is really becoming a community trust. Utilizing all of the resources that a particular organization has in terms of its human capital and economic buying power. How can we make a difference in the communities that we exist in? That's what being an anchor institution is all about. And there's an organization that's called the Healthcare Anchor Network. It's 45 or 46 organizations. It's sort of a who's who of health systems. If you were going to have a dinner party, these are the people that you would invite over. And I'm happy to tell you that Spectrum Health has recently joined St. Mary's here in Grand Rapids as becoming a member of this Healthcare Anchor Network, and where we will be working very, very hard to make a difference in advancing the health status of people really broadly across our community. We can do this several different ways. You know, we look at place-based hiring, going into communities that have been ravaged by unemployment, hiring individuals and creating a career ladder and using economic security as a tool. Looking at local business around ownership, making sure that we're trying to partner with local organizations instead of nationals. Multipliers, taking dollars that we have in our own community and using them as a match to bring in dollars to support other activities, and that's something that we do. Collaboration, which is really important. It means moving away from attribution, caring less about getting the glory, and instead caring more about making a difference. I think that that's fundamental. Being inclusive and being cognizant of your workforce, also really, really important. This is almost my last slide, and it's to point out that there are lots of functional assets that can be leveraged. I want to draw your attention to this lower box here, because these are the primary tenets of the healthcare anchor network strategies. It's around being inclusive and being deliberate about what we're doing with hiring and creating those career ladders. It's about not only selecting local vendors for our purchasing and supply chain and procurement, but also looking at minority-owned business, recognizing that that's going to turn into jobs and improvement. And by using local, that creates sticky dollars. Those dollars are going to be recycled in our community many times over. Whereas if we're partnering with a local that's based out of Indianapolis, those dollars are gone. Being deliberate about how we're using our investments. Spectrum Health, like all health systems, like all businesses, like all homes. We have financial liabilities. We sell bonds. We have to pay interest rates on our bonds. But we also have corporate reserves. How can we utilize our reserves to invest in local organizations? How can we invest in companies that are also helping to make betterment within our community? This represents a real mind shift. And then, of course, looking at how are we leveraging our contracts with construction. We love building buildings, that's for darn sure, and real estate as well. This is my last slide, and I don't even know where it is. But it sure is beautiful, isn't it? I share this with you because healthcare right now is at a time of unprecedented change. We don't know what's happening. The future is uncertain. The one thing we do know is that we can't afford to continue to do things the way that we have done them before. We're during times where, quite frankly, there's polarization, political polarization that's unprecedented. We're at times where there's intolerance. Yet despite all these things, I choose hope. I know that working together as broad communities, we can make a difference. We can make a difference in the lives of everyone. So when I say community, it's everyone that you see, not just the people that work on your team. We can make a difference for the lives of everyone. And that's what I am excited to do. So I choose hope, and I encourage you to choose hope as well. So thank you very much.
So time for the awards. Please give another round of applause for Dr. Fawcett. Hello, everyone. My name is Jillian Gim. I'm the program manager for the U.S. Green Building Council of West Michigan, and I have the honor to introduce the winner for 2019's 2030 Leadership Award. The 2030 Leadership Award recognizes an individual who has shown exemplary leadership towards the Grand Rapids 2030 district goals. Transformando West Michigan, launched in 2018 as a West Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce program, empowers Hispanic business owners and entrepreneurs to grow and robustly contribute to the region's local economy. Ana Jose, the program manager of Transformando West Michigan, has been a champion for the intersectionalities between business success and sustainability practices. With Transformando businesses belonging to one of the most energy use intensive building sectors, Ana has leveraged the benefits of energy management via the Energy Assistance Program in a powerful way. So please join me in inviting the program manager for Transformando West Michigan, Ana Jose, to the stage to be celebrated. Make sure you come up the stairs over here. There's no stairs over there, and the camera woman will be in the middle.
Hey everybody, I'm Brett Little, Executive Director at the Green Home Institute. I've known Michael and the Architectural Resource Team since back in my volunteer days at GHI, going on 10 years. And despite designing some of the best homes in regards to sustainability, he and his team continue to learn and seek more knowledge. It's hard to believe how humble they are and really how willing they are to share what they learned with everybody in the community. I'm still always surprised when he reaches out to me with questions to learn something from me, and I'm always surprised by that because I have learned so much from him and his team and everyone he's worked with over my career that I appreciate that. And so I'm really honored to continue to work with Michael and the Architectural Resource Team, and to also once again present them for the second year in a row for the Certified Green Home Award for their work on Michigan's first certified U.S. Passive House project, along with the Preissners and Adaptive Building Solutions. So come on up.
And I just want to take a second to acknowledge Alex Jackson, who was our project designer for this project, who was unable to be here because of family obligations, but he was a huge part of the success of this project.
For those of you who haven't cracked those annual reports, there's the story of each one of these winners in there. So please take a moment to read through what these people have accomplished, what these buildings have accomplished.
Good evening. I'm Deborah Sippian. I'm the Sustainability Coordinator for the Chrisman Company. I am honored to introduce the winner of the 2019 Green Community Award. The Green Community Award recognizes one's dedication to fostering healthy and environmentally conscious community. Habitat for Humanity of Kent County has dedicated their cause to providing housing which is both financially and environmentally sustainable. Within the past year, Habitat for Humanity Kent County has certified 6 affordable housing projects, which are LEED certified, with features such as air sealing, increased insulation, low or no VOCs. Through this work, that Habitat for Humanity of Kent County is working to make affordable and sustainable synonymous. Please join me in inviting Habitat to the stage.
Hi, everybody. Just want to mention that we've got Rolando Ramos from R&R Mechanicals up here with us today. He's helped us along this journey of getting good air quality as we go along this LEED journey for all of those who are familiar with that process. So doing it affordably is something we're very proud of. Thank you, guys.
Hello, I'm Wendy Berg. I am the program coordinator for the U.S. Green Building Council of West Michigan. I am honored to be introducing the winner of the 2019 Green Schools Champion Award. The Green Schools Champion Award recognizes an individual's commitment to educating the minds of the future. Josh Gottlieb, this year's recipient, has gone above and beyond to educate and support his students in their efforts to convey the urgency of our climate crisis to their school and community. Within the past year, Josh and students from Kalamazoo Central High School have been instrumental in advocating for environmental stewardship. Due to their efforts, Kalamazoo Public Schools was the first school in the state of Michigan to declare a climate emergency. Amidst their success, Josh and his students have no intention of slowing their efforts and have big plans for the future and furthering advocacy. It is his leadership and perseverance that has made Josh Gottlieb overwhelmingly deserving of this award. Please join me in inviting Josh to the stage to accept his award.
Tell them why you wear the outfit. Wait, get your picture first. Get your picture first. All right, tell them.
The outfit is inspired by some students. This is to signify that we are currently at war. Climate change is a battle, and I'm ready for battle. So this is my climate change uniform. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Musk. I'm a senior civil engineer at Fishbeck. I serve on the board of the USGBC West Michigan, and I'm on the Green Building Certification Committee. I'm honored tonight to be introducing the winner of the 2019 Innovative Project Award. This award recognizes exemplary building projects that break the mold and go beyond the standard development practices. So in 2019, Circuit West has made numerous strides in the field of sustainability. A project in collaboration with Consumers Energy and Rockford Construction. Circuit West's goal is to demonstrate what is possible for other cities. Through their work, they have changed the game of energy efficiency and storage in the city of Grand Rapids. In order to prioritize efficiency, sustainability, and customer experience, Circuit West has created several innovative technologies. Within the past years, these partners have seen to the construction and operation of rooftop solar panels in combination with a 0.5 megawatt battery storage system. Energy is now generated on site with more automated processes. As a result, 74 minutes of power outage time has been avoided compared to the system average. So now I'd like to invite the delegates from Rockford Construction, Consumers Energy, and the City of Grand Rapids to the stage.
hope you do. Find a spot. I might have to do. Let's just get out of the way.
I'd just like to take a minute and recognize the leadership of Consumers Energy. They've been visionary in allowing us to continue to expand our vision for Grand Rapids, and most importantly, the West Side and all of Grand Rapids. And thank you very much. You guys rock.
Good evening. I'm Renee Hesslink, and I'm the Vice President of Sustainability for Nichols, and I also serve on the West Michigan USGBC Chapter Board. And I'm thrilled to introduce the winner of the 2019 Outstanding Green Building Award. The Outstanding Green Building Award recognizes a structure that truly exemplifies the values of sustainability and energy efficiency. Catalyst Partners, who's also a founding member of our chapter, Keith has completed their LEED for Existing Building Operations and Maintenance Platinum certification in the last year. They were now considered one of the most sustainable companies in the country. Those through innovations such as variable speed fans and cost-efficient, effective solar panels, Catalyst Partners tailors the experience of usage to the consumer while remaining ecologically viable. Catalyst Partners is a model of what is possible. So please join me in inviting Catalyst Partners to the stage.
Somebody's got it. Come on. Congratulations, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yes, I'm going to get out of the way and let you guys go.
Hello again. As I said, my name is Devon Miller, Building Commissioning Specialist for Western Michigan University. I kind of went over what my role was at Western. So in addition, I serve as the chair for the USGBC West Michigan chapter. I am honored to be introducing the winner of the 2019 Volunteer of the Year Award. The Volunteer of the Year Award recognizes exceptional volunteerism within the community. E3 Solutions, through their work with Students for Sustainable Design program, aims to address three major goals: environmental sustainability, financial viability, and risk reduction. They have donated hours of their time toward workshops and programs to achieve this goal. The U.S. Green Building Council of West Michigan thrives on the role of volunteerism, and it is through these collaborative efforts that we grow as a community. So please welcome to the stage E3 Solutions.
Oh, okay. I think think we're wrapping it up. I want to thank Dr. Fawcett. Enlightening talk. I don't know that it made me feel good, but it's real and scary. How many of you are putting your houses on the market next week? And I want to thank everyone. Like, thank you is not a big enough word, but we're really grateful for everything that you do that puts us here to congratulate you, to celebrate you, to spread your message, to educate others. Keep doing what you're doing so that we can keep doing what we're doing. So thank you. Have a good evening. Please drive safe on the way home. I heard that there's some snow coming and I haven't been outside in a while. Oh, and Morgan wants me to say that there are boxes for your awards. So if you want the box to take it home in so it doesn't get broken, they'll get them for you. Thank you.